What's good? It's your boy Jay, that's me. AEW Dynamite for October the 18th, 2023 was an absolute disaster. An absolute disaster to the highest degree. Tony Khan needs to hire a booker. Tony Khan needs to hire a team of writers. And Tony Khan needs to step down from AEW Creative and let somebody else run it, and he can just be the one to fund AEW. It's just that simple. Because if not, Tony Khan is going to be the downfall of AEW. It's just the fact at this point. This man cannot book at all. This show was awful. It was pathetic. It was basically a waste of 2 hours outside of a few segments. That was it. Oh my God. It's just sad to see where AEW is now. They're in a major rut. Man, them losing CM Punk was a huge blow to the product. A huge blow. A very huge blow. First match of the night, Jay White versus Penta El Zero. So Juice Robinson, he gets involved in the match towards the end of the match. He distracts the referee. This allows for Juice Robinson to hit the left-handed God. And then Jay White hits the Blade Runner for the 1, 2, 3. Post-match, Jay White gets on the mic and says that he's the world champion and MJF isn't here. Jay White says MJF isn't able to find anyone to take them up on the 8-man tag. Juice Robinson says the Stray Bullet, Rock Hard Juice Robinson, is going to win the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal. Who gives a shit? Moving on. So MJF is backstage with Renee in the back. MJF says that if Juice wins tonight, it'll be the left-handed God versus the right hand of the devil. The Acclaimed and Daddy Ass, they show up. Max Caster offers his services in the 8-man tag, and MJF declines. And then Daddy Ass says that Max Caster's trying too hard. And then Daddy Ass calls MJF a scumbag, or says that MJF is a scumbag, but Max Caster says he's my scumbag. And I'm just like, oh my God, what in the absolute fuck is going on here? Please stop. Effective immediately. Please stop. Moving on. Hikaru Shida versus Emi Sakura. Who cares? Hikaru Shida wins. I mean, it's not important. Like, why is Emi Sakura still there? I thought she had been quietly released, maybe. I mean, again, it's time for Tony Khan to start actually doing some actual releases of talent. It needs to happen. This is a business. This isn't a place where everybody can be friends and all that stuff. No, this is a business. This is an absolute business, and it should be ran like one. Moving on. So, Renee Paquette, she's sitting down with Edge. So Edge doesn't understand what's actually happening with Christian, as the idea was to finish his career with him in AEW. Edge goes over his long life relationship with Christian. Edge always felt the need to motivate Christian and help open doors for him, and Christian resents him for it. Edge says that he doesn't want Christian Cage's TNT Championship. He doesn't want to fight Christian, and he knows he doesn't. And he doesn't know what he does want. but he'll be there when Christian gets left high and dry by Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne. Okay, that makes sense. Makes sense. So, if that's the question, then that begs the question as to why can't Christian lose the TNT Championship to a guy like Swerve? A guy who could have elevated that title, and we could have begun the feud with Christian Cage and Edge to start that process. Slow burn it for a few months, but start that process. Maybe at Revolution, and then maybe have it conclude at Full Gear next year. Moving on. Wardlow versus Ryan Nemeth, a.k.a. the little brother of Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler's going to go to AEW anyway, more than likely. That's common sense. So, Wardlow hits one powerbomb on Nemeth, and the referee calls it. But before that happens, Ryan Nemeth attacks Wardlow. So he gets his head squeezed. So post-match, Tony Schiavone asks Wardlow why he's here, and Wardlow shows him the wrist tape that says MJF. Wardlow he shoves Schiavone to the ground on the way out. So I guess Wardlow's a heel. And I guess this is fine, but not really. Really and truthfully, I think at Full Gear, they should do what they're doing with Rhea Ripley on SmackDown. In WWE World. They should do a Fatal 4-Way. It should be MJF versus Jay White versus Wardlow versus Samoa Joe. MJF retains. You can feud him with those guys individually, or you can continue the Adam Cole MJF storyline. But you've got quite a few options with that. But I feel like we're probably going to get the Fatal 4-Way that I just mentioned probably around Winter is Coming. So they'll probably end up doing it there. But, I'm hoping that Wardlow becomes a world champion in 2024. He needs it. I am over MJF as champion. I'm over it. I am so over it. Tired of it. Moving on. So Renee Paquette is backstage with Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega says that he's the measuring stick for people in AEW, and his win-loss record this year isn't great. But after beating Fletcher, he wants to take out the Don Callis Family and then maybe the AEW World Championship. So MJF comes in and he shakes Kenny Omega's hand and before whispering, 13 days, bitch, in his ear. I'm just like, what in the world? What? What does he mean by 13 days? What is he talking about? What does that mean? 13 days to what? I have no idea what that means. Or what's that implying. I don't get it. 13 days to what? It makes zero sense. Because come Full Gear, MJF will be he'll have had the title for a year. When Full Gear comes into play on November 19th, he'll have it for a full year. But that's it. I don't know, man. Moving on. So, we're back at Roderick Strong's house. Adam! So Adam Cole's waiting on Roderick Strong and the Kingdom hand and foot. Adam Cole then makes peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for everybody. So Roderick Strong spits out the peanut butter and jelly sandwich because Cole forgot to cut the crust off. Adam Cole says he's finally had enough and leaves. He said he's going to get surgery. Roderick Strong said he knows what he has to do to get his best friend back. And that's be nice to MJF. Really good stuff there. That was one of the bright spots of the show. Moving on. So, Tony Schiavone welcomes Don Callis and his family to the ring. Don Callis says nobody has dealt with Jericho like Will Hobbs did last week. Then Will Hobbs gets on the mic and says Jericho disrespected him and his big mama many years ago. And that's why he had to make him pay. Hobbs said he loved every second of it. Don Callis said the Don Callis family is undefeated except for the stand-in scrub worker Kyle Fletcher. So Kyle Fletcher comes into play. Oh my God, this guy is just a total clown. He has a douchebag type of haircut. And I'm just like, oh my God, like what in the world, dog? So Kyle Fletcher gets on the mic and said he's going to prove to everyone, including Don Callis, that he doesn't need anyone's help beating Kenny Omega. Don Callis says if Kyle Fletcher wins, he's got an opportunity in the family. This leads us into Kyle Fletcher versus Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega gets the win via the One Ring Angel. So, I mean, it's not really that important. Kyle Fletcher sucks. Aussie Open sucks, man. They suck. Like, seriously. Get them both off of television. They are two boring, bland, New Japan white guys. Generic white guys. Seriously. Get them off my fucking television, please. Then, for whatever reason, we get a Danhausen vignette. And it makes zero sense. I'm just like, oh my God, this show has been an absolute fucking disaster. So, then Tony Schiavone, he welcomed Sting to the ring. So Sting said he remembers the first time he wooed to the crowd and they did it back. Sting wants to reflect before he says the word. Sting puts over the Steiner Brothers, Dusty Rhodes, Hulk Hogan, Lex Luger, etc. Sting says that he'd love to acknowledge the man that put him on the map, that being Ric Flair. Thank you, Nature Boy. So, a huge thank you Sting chant breaks out. Sting always wondered why these guys kept coming back year after year, and he understands why they hung on. The smell of the arena, the travel with other wrestlers, the world of fans, etc. Should Sting be jumping off of balconies? Well, no. But we'll get there. Getting back to that word, then you still got it, chant breaks out. So Sting's retirement in 2015 didn't sit right with him. And in that speech, he said something. And in that speech, he said that nothing is for sure. Sting started his first match at AEW Revolution, and Sting's last match will be at Revolution 2024. The only thing for sure about Sting is that the retirement at Revolution 2024 is for sure. So this is great. This does make sense. I don't know who he's going to face. I would love for Sting to get a world title match. You know, I think that would be great. Sting versus MJF, have a really good match. Sting puts MJF over. That would be fine there. But it makes sense. I mean, Sting has had a remarkable career. I have always loved Sting. I've always loved Sting. Since I was a kid, I've always loved Sting. I loved all his versions. Crow Sting, Joker Sting when he was in Impact. Even Sting in WWE was decent, you know? So I've always, loved Sting. Sting has always been tremendous. He's always been one of the GOATs. Always has. Next, RJ City, he's out with Tony Storm. And then we see Tony Storm's life work, Gone with the Storm. And I'm just like, why do they insist to going to picture-in-picture commercials when those can wait? And why can't we just do a full screen of where we see the silent movie for at least 2 or 3 minutes, which wouldn't hurt. Then we can go to a commercial. That would make more sense. It was hard to watch that and make out what they were saying. I didn't write anything down because I don't even take notes while watching the show. I just watch the show. Just being honest with you guys. Moving on. Jim Ross, he's with Nick Wayne and his mom. Jim Ross tells Nick that he's going to regret turning on a true friend, which is tough to find in the wrestling business. So Nick Wayne's mom says it's so out of character for him, and she doesn't recognize her own son. Nick cuts her off and tells her to shut up. Nobody ever asked about Nick. Always Darby. Nick has a new father figure now, Christian, who's more of a father than his real dad ever was. Nick said his mom was a terrible mother. She slaps him in the face, and then Christian tells Nick Wayne's mom that she should have picked up the phone. So both guys leave the room. Darby then jumps both Christian and Nick Wayne. So the fight spills onto the ramp. Luchasaurus comes through. He throws Darby down the ramp. Sting makes the save. And then Sting tries to put the Scorpion Deathlock onto Luchasaurus, onto Christian Cage, but Luchasaurus pulls Christian Cage to safety. Okay, makes sense. Pretty good little segment there. I enjoyed it for the most part. Nick Wayne is no Dominic Mysterio, so we need to calm down with that nonsense. Dom was on a totally different level than Nick. Nick is just starting his career, it seems like. And Dom is way older than Nick. I think by I want to say 6 years. Dom has to be at least between 24 and 26. I want to say that. So Dom is light years better than Nick Wayne. Light years better. And I don't understand the comparisons either. There should be no comparisons. It's completely different. I don't get that. I really don't get the comparisons. I don't know, man. The main event. Oh my God. It's just sad. This was just sad. I feel bad for Johnny TV, aka Johnny Mundo, Johnny Impact, Johnny Morrison, whatever you want to call him. I feel bad. So MJF was out on commentary. The final three came down to Max Caster, Juice Robinson, and Daniel Garcia. So Daniel Garcia is eliminated first, and then Jay White comes out, and him and MJF, they have a little brawl. MJF gets his title back finally after, 2.5 weeks of Jay White having it. Then Jay White low blows MJF. And then this allows for Juice Robinson to hit the left hand of God with the ring on his hand. And then Max Caster gets tossed out the ring, and then Juice Robinson wins. Who gives a shit? This show sucked. This show was not good. Outside of Sting announcing his retirement, Tony Storm doing her stuff, that was good. The Nick Wayne stuff was good too. Outside of those three things, this show sucked. It was a waste of time. This show sucked. Again, Tony Khan needs to hire a booker. Quick, fast, in a hurry. Do better, Tony Khan. I forgot to mention that Lance Archer showed up, and he destroyed Barrett Brown, a guy who was doing Young Bucks cosplay for whatever reason. Who cares? Lance Archer sucks. I don't know why he even showed up. I get he's from Texas, but still, the guy sucks. Send him back to New Japan, please. Also, I forgot to mention that Swerve, he cut a promo just basically reiterating that he's going to come after Hangman Page. He's going to go after the ones that Hangman Page love. So they're going to continue that feud there, which I'm fine with. We'll probably get the rematch at Full Gear, and then maybe we'll probably end the feud at either Revolution or maybe even Winter is Coming. I don't know. But Dynamite sucked. What did you guys think? Like, comment below, and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.